Hi Jay. So let's have a walk through what this looks like. Now in this particular case, I've got a button in the toolbar that does an Ajax callback. I mean, you're doing an Ajax callback, but you're doing it from each row. And just what I'm going to show you first doesn't matter where you're doing the callback from. If I do a live preview, I think I've got my debugger in there. So here we are. So this is an uneditable grid, and but I still have a couple of fields turned into labels. And now I'm going to do my Ajax callback. So here we are in the non-editable grid debugger, and this is what you're running into. That you don't, if it's non-editable, then it's your current row data. It's all empty. I'm not really sure if Alpha should have done that actually. Um, Probably makes the whole thing a lot faster. If you're not editing data, there's no sense in loading it all in here, but that means you can't really get at it in a kind of a common way. So that's your issue, right? You can't get at the data once you're in your XBasic function. So what we need to do, I'll close this and go back over here. And so here we've got a button. Um, I'm just going to comment this stuff out. I don't need that. I'm going to leave that in there. No, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to get rid of this. So I'm going to go back to Action JavaScript. So this is a little technique that we can use. So we're going to do an Ajax callback. We're going to set this up in Action JavaScript, and our function name is. Let me just go and grab that. Save the changes. Get first name. Doesn't matter what it's called. So come back in here, on click, and we're going to create an Action JavaScript Ajax callback, and our function is get first name. And we're going to submit some additional data. So it's all the information you need is down here, and all we need to set up is the name pair value example. We don't need to do anything else. Can't copy that. I wish you could copy that. It means I have to do some typing. So in a single quote, we do what do we want to get? First, let's say underbar first name is equal to an alpha. It doesn't matter. And then our second variable, let's say we want to, in your case, it's like email or something else. First name and we'll say last name is equal to beta. All right. So these are two variables that we're going to pass into this XBasic function. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, that's all we want. And say okay. So that's our Ajax callback. That's all set up, but that doesn't do us much good because we've got to fill up those variables. So we're going to change this to text mode, and we get a nice little warning. And here's what we get. This is our template for doing our Ajax callback, and this is the important part right in here. So let's go and set this up. There's our first name. So we're going to go and get our first name. And in JavaScript, it doesn't matter whether you're working with editable or not. And now we're going to go and get our last name. I'm just going to copy this. So that's cool. I think that's real. Yeah, it is, last name. And we're getting it from the current row, which is the grid row number, so that's good. So now we're going to build this up, and we're going to say that our var params is equal to double quote. I think I've got this right. Underbar first name is equal to double quote, and first name, and double quote, and underbar, last name equals, and put in our last name, oops, last name, and double quote, close off the single quote, and double quote, oops, double quote. So that should do it. And then we want to get in here, and we're going to replace this whole thing with params. Save that and see if it works. And we're calling get first name. Yep. And so here we are in the first row. So we'll do this. So now we're in our Ajax callback in our get first name function. And now in our list, in our E object, we should have first name, underbar first name, which we do have. Looks like 2 underbars in there. Isn't that funny? And where's our last name? There's our last name, Graham. It's got a single quote on it. Let's find out why. Graham. It shouldn't have. So that's me. I thought I'd have to. There's params. So I don't know why that's happening. There's our first name. I don't think our first name had that in there. Last name equals last name. I thought I needed that, but well, let me try it like that. Well, I wouldn't think that that would work. Did? I'm surprised. I thought it had to be in single quotes. Maybe it just has to be in, well, who knows. Anyway, there's your underbar. Oh, now we get a proper underbar. Isn't that funny? Okay. There's our underbar first name, our underbar last name, and now you can use them in here. And you just reference them. Let's go and do that. So that's all set up. And we'll go to our xbasic function. Dim first as c is equal to e dot underbar first name. Dim last as c equals e dot underbar last name. And we'll run it one more time. Do this. And if we pop down in here, we can see first, oops, we need to run it, don't we? Step through it, and we can say first. There's our first name, there's our last name. And you can see if we do e dot underbar first name, that comes in there. So that's how you get any data that you want into where you're going. I'll halt that. Go back in here. So once again, you just grab the values in JavaScript. You set up your Ajax callback and then turn it into a text mode, and then just set up your parameter string. And you give it name pair values, name data values. So there's your function, there's your variable name, and there's the value that it belongs to. Ampersand, and there's your next one. And you can just keep going with the string like that. I hope that helps. Thanks.